Hi, I'm asked quite often how we come up with new blog posts, the content for them, and how we write about them, and so on. And a good example was an article on the BBC's website yesterday about electric car sales, which for an electrician is an obvious thing to be blogging about because it's in the news at the moment. Oil prices are very high, fuel prices are very high, so a lot of people are thinking about replacing their cars with electric cars. Now, this article is talking about the new car sales dropping, but down here, electric car boost registrations up 79% to 39,000 in March compared to the previous year. So, as we know, electric car sales are going through the roof. And if you buy an electric car, at some point you're going to have to get a charger installed before the car comes. So there's obviously a need, a requirement there. So the way we handle this is we start off with what are the keywords people search for. This is just on our website, and electrical, we've got a list of the top keywords. I'm just looking for, here we are, EV charger installation. I think is the first of the EV ones, 2,400. That was done a couple of months ago, so I suspect the numbers may have increased by now. Let's have a look. So EV charger installation. This is Google Ads keyword plan. You can sign up for a free account for it. And obviously what Google's trying to do is get you to advertise your company, but you don't have to pay to set up an account. And what you can do is find out the keywords people are searching for. So if I put in EV charger, I think it was installation in there. So under this keywords bit here, and if I say get results, Google's going to tell me all the keywords related to that. So it's come up with 597 ideas. Just going through a few bits here, so just to explain what's going on. So here's EV charger installation. Currently there's 2,900 searches a month. So when we did our list, that was about 2 months ago, it was 2,400. So it is going up a lot. This little graph here shows the monthly searches for the last year. So you can see we're April 2021, 1,600 a month, and now we're in February, 6,600 searches for EV charger installation. This number here is an average, and obviously it goes up and down, but it is going up and up. So the average is probably going to be quite a lot higher than that if we go forward 6 months. A great term to be advertising for at the moment, and a great term to write blogs about. So when we're doing a blog, if we want to aim for this EV charger search, which is a big search, we're thinking, first of all, what are the things people are searching for? What are people typing into Google? EV charger installation is the biggie, but there's lots of other related terms as well. And if we scroll down here, we've got things like, obviously, car charger, EV home charger. Cost is a big one. People asking, what does it cost to install it? And that could be people that haven't yet ordered an electric car and are thinking about, well, if I get one, I've got the cost of the charger. What does it cost? How much money am I going to save in fuel and so on? I'm just going to sort these by the number of searches. So we're just looking at the biggest ones. Zappi, the brand, is coming in there. Podpoint coming in here. Some of the searches will be a bit general and not really related to the installation side of things. So I've deliberately not gone for EV charger. I've put the word installation in there because we want people with a real need to actually hire an electrician. So looking down here, install car charger at home. Anyone typing that in probably has a requirement to get one installed. EV installation is a bit more general, and for me it's not really an appealing term to be advertising for, to be writing about in blogs. What else have we got down here? EV installers near me is quite a good one. 480 searches a month. OLEV, charge point, and so on. So there's a lot of terms. These are just the big ones. There's 597 keywords that Google has come up with that people are searching for. So one thing you can do always is to go down the bottom and look for the low volume ones. So I'm scrolling down here. That's the first 100 rows. Install EV charging point is searched 70 times a month. So rather than always focusing on the big ones, also focus on the little ones, what are called the long tail keywords, because everyone aims for the big ones, but there are hundreds and hundreds, in this case, as 600, of which 500 have less than 70 searches a month. So they're the kind of the smaller ones, but there are so many of them that if you can start a ranking in search results for some of those, you'll do awfully well. So the next step is to, once we know what people are searching for, is to think about how we're going to use that information. So there's a few things I'm thinking about here. First up, we know how many times they're searched a month. We can see a few bits of data here. So we can see in the last 3 months, EV charger installation has gone up by 175%. So, as expected, it's a growth one. There's more and more demand. We know the future is good for it. It's a keyword that will be searched for in greater quantities in the months to come. So from a blogging, from an advertising point of view, it's a really, really good thing to target. These numbers over on the right here are Google telling you what it costs to advertise for those keywords. So it's saying at the top of the page, one of the first adverts, the pay-per-click adverts, the lower end of the sort of budgets will be about £1 per click. At the higher end, £2.90. It's a side point, but when we're advertising for EV at the moment, we're normally aiming around about the £1.20, £1.30 a click, which is working well enough to get good inquiries without spending too much money. But from a blogging point of view, what I'm thinking to myself is, if we're going to write a blog for somebody on EV chargers, in fact, we're probably going to write a sequence of blogs rather than a single blog, because it's such a big opportunity to generate some traffic. So we're probably going to start off with a title, and I think our first title might be EV charger installation, because that's a big one. And then we're going to be looking at some of these other terms to find subheadings that we can use down the page. For example, OLEV approved installer. And then talking with a paragraph about OLEV, what OLEV is, what it requires to be approved, etc. And then a bit lower down here, what else have we got? The brands. If you are a PodPoint, ChargePoint, etc. installer, then having a section on the brand, so having a subheading with the brand name in it, and 2 or 3 paragraphs of text about the brand, what's good about it, how you install it, etc. One other thing you can do, which works really well, is to do a search in Google for the keyword you're focusing on. So EV charger installation. Now, if we go past the ads and the map results and so on, you get this section here called People Also Ask. And Google puts in there questions that are often asked relating to that keyword. So there you go. Can I install one myself? Do you need to be an electrician to install an EV charger? Within the content of a blog, it helps, rather than just to focus on what you do, your services, etc., to answer questions that people ask. And an easy way of doing that is to pick some of these questions and have them as a subheading, and then a paragraph below answering that question. Google loves that. If you answer the questions that people are asking, then they'll rank you very well in search results, and they will tell you what questions are being asked. You start off with the 4 here, but if you click on one that's relevant, so let's do this first one. Do you need to be an electrician to install one? If you click on the down arrow, suddenly Google adds in a couple more related to that question. Can I charge an electric car on a 13 amp socket? Can you install a level 3 charger at home? So if I click on that one, it's added in a couple more. Can I plug an EV into a regular outlet? By clicking on questions that are relevant to what you're trying to talk about, you find a few more questions that come up, and suddenly, rather than the blog, you're thinking, well, what do I write about? You've got all these different ideas, all these subheadings for different paragraphs, and it's quite easy to get to a 700-800 word blog article about the subject by using these questions, by using these keywords in here, and adding your knowledge in, adding your experience, putting in what your customers are asking you about, adding a few photos in as well to add some interest to it, and suddenly you've got a good blog post that is aimed at the common searches that are being made at the moment, but is also answering the questions that people are asking in the way that Google wants you to. And within a very short space of time, that blog will start ranking well in search results and bringing new people into the website that wouldn't otherwise have found you. And the right kind of people, the people that are looking to have an EV charger installed and therefore have a real need, rather than just those that are browsing around out of general interest. Hope that's useful. That's sort of how we go about putting together blog posts, how we sort of formulate the strategy. And we wouldn't really do one post. We'd probably do 2, 3, 4, do a sequence of them to target different search terms in each one, and to give it a bit more chance of ranking well in search results. Hope that was useful.